I'd like to call the Groseal Downtown Development Authority meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Marie, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is roll call. Mr. Moran is here. Mr. Budney's excused. Mr. Anderson is not here yet. Mrs. Pusak? Mr. Ranley?
Here.
Mr. Gergley?
Yeah.
Ms. Carnes not here yet. Mr. Jacobson?
Here.
And Ms. Pemberton is excused. Next is the approval of the agenda. We have one addition and one deletion. We are going to add a fifth action item that reads, motion to approve the fourth quarter maintenance of the street lighting system to RD Electric in the amount of $1,543. And we're going to eliminate or delete discussion item number 3, which is the TAP grant application. So with those changes,
I thought
Marie?
I printed out. Did you say item number 3?
Item 2
Okay.
of the discussion
Second
items.
page. This one, tap grant.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Gergley,
A second.
support by Mr. Ranley to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is presentations. Ross, we have none tonight, correct? Yep. Move on to our next item, which is the approval of the minutes of the October 26th, 2023 meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Pusak, supported by Mr. Jacobson to approve the minutes of October 26, 2023. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our financial update. We need a motion to approve the October 2023 financial report.
Motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Jacobson, supported by Mr. Anderson. Is there any further discussion? Hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at it and,
Question, just,
yep, Marie?
I thought, Ross, you said you ordered 400 bags. It looks, this says 250 here.
No, yeah, we, looking at the prices of those bags, it made sense to do 250 instead of,
Now, if we go ahead of time, you can find, I mean, Leanne can find deals. You just can't do it, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna do this year after year, I mean, and then we can switch it up and
It
she
sounded-
can just let us know, hey, I got these, they're only X dollars, so.
Yeah, I'd reached out to her a few months prior to the event. She was in Greece, actually.
The Lay's night bags?
Yeah, yeah.
And did we have some left over this year? No?
We actually,
Okay.
I thought we had 300, and when Mr. Gergley and I closed down, I'll call it, I think we had like 5,
Okay,
and we just left them on the table
yeah,
there. So,
okay.
but it was, it was pretty dark. That's one of the things we need to fix for next year is we need to have some kind of lighting there because once it got dark, it was dark.
Right,
As
yeah.
people were
And I think
coming
that
up to the table.
Yeah.
And I think that next year we maybe do a little bit something more than just bags. Maybe add something more, add more elements to Ladies' Night Out. But we'll talk about that later in our discussion.
Sure. Any other discussion on the financial report? Hearing none, we have a motion by Mr. Jacobson, supported by Mr. Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to our action items, we have an action item number 1 that is a motion to approve funds to rent bathrooms for Island Glow from Red Carpet Restrooms in the amount of $1,450.
We need a motion?
Yes, need a
I'll move
motion.
to approve.
Motion by Ms. Pusak,
Second.
supported by Mr. Jacobson. Is there any further discussion?
These items, do we typically multiple quotes or do we stick with a?
There's a threshold. It's at anything above 3,000. We typically go out to bid.
And are these a regular vendor that we typically use?
This is not.
It's not.
Yep. This was brought to me through Emily Wellman They do a great job. It's like luxury bathrooms, so it would be great for our Christmas event, Island Glow tomorrow. So.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, we have a motion by Ms. Pusak, supported by Mr. Jacobson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Action item number 2 is a motion to approve funds to rent Christmas tree lights from Leclerc Display in the amount of $1,675.
Are they a local company, or where are they based out of?
They're based out of, I believe, Ann Arbor. And to Brad's point, next year we will be going out to bid because they do a lot of work on Macomb Street. I don't have the exact number, but between the Christmas tree and all the telephone poles and the commons, it comes up to quite a bit of money. We've historically used them. I know that I think Angela, we've been using them for a while.
Yeah,
but
I think we've been using them for like 10 years or something like
yeah.
that.
At least on the poles, I think there might have been a different vendor at the Commons for some
Yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah. I think it was Grosseal Sprinkler.
Yes,
Yep.
Yeah, I know they do the lights.
But next year we're going to kind of bid out the entire thing to have, if Leclerc comes up, that'll be, that's fantastic. But we just want to see what else is up there and, perhaps different ideas. So
So these are just for the Christmas tree, right?
these are just for the Christmas tree. Yep. We approved the Commons lights and everything else last month.
And how much was the Christmas tree? Because that's addition too, right?
The Christmas tree was $950, so that didn't need board approval. Anything above $1,000 needs board approval.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I will.
Motion by Ms. Pusak,
I'll second.
supported by Mr. Jacobson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion carries. Action item number 3 is a motion to extend the professional services agreement between the Downtown Development Authority and Ally McLaughlin for for $1,000 per month of work on an as-needed basis.
Yeah, her contract expired a few months ago. She had done some work for us in September. We'd found that her contract expired, and instead of having to keep on renewing it year after year, we're just going to do an as-needed basis. So,
I think that's a good idea. That way, when we need her, we can use her, and if there's no need, then we don't need to pay her.
Yep.
Okay. So then what we're saying here is that we're gonna agree to pay her $1,000 a month as needed, meaning if we need her for
When we
3 months of
contract
the
her.
year,
Yep.
she'll get $3,000, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Ranley,
I'll support that.
supported by Mr. Gergely. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Action item number 4 is a motion to approve the Grosseal Downtown Development Authority grant application for Low Mo LLC in the amount of $2,340 for sidewalk and parking lot repairs.
What is Lomo?
So that's Dr. Khaled's office, the urgent care there.
So
on
this
Macomb
is,
Street.
this is the actual urgent care
Yep.
facility?
Yep.
Okay.
What, how did we come up with, I saw they applied for 5,000, how did we come to the 2,340?
So that's all that we have in our budget for grants this year.
Okay.
And
It's the remaining balance.
it's the remaining balance, yes. And I had asked Dr. Khaled if that's okay with him, and he said, yeah, whatever you guys got, I'm fine with. So, and he does have 2 quotes attached here. He has everything required within the grant application. So he is in the process of getting permits right now. So he's in line with everything that we require.
It's not inexpensive.
I'll make a motion to approve in a minute.
Got a motion by Mr. Anderson,
Support it.
supported by Mr. Gergely. Marie, did you have a question? Or no?
No, I just said it's not inexpensive. Jeez.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we have a motion by Mr. Anderson, support by Mr. Gurgley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Action item number 5 is a motion to approve the fourth quarter lighting maintenance agreement with RD Electric in the amount of $1,543. And that was an action item added at tonight's meeting, and there was a copy of RD Electric invoice that was passed out tonight.
Those are for the lights on Macomb, right? The street lights?
Yes.
Still got that one on the Commons, the one letter needs to be rewired or something.
Okay, I'll be sure to get with
Maybe they
Rich.
can look at it and give us a
Yeah.
price anyways, but it's,
Yep, I'll be
The
sure.
first letter?
I don't remember what letter, we had them replaced, the ones that were burned out and fixed, but one of them, the guy said it was the electrical needs to be repaired, so.
Gotcha. I'll look into that tomorrow.
And just, so Ron, you mentioned lighting, so maybe like next year, we're gonna consider putting lighting into the gazebo somehow. Just maybe permanent lighting, or do you think we'll have lighting for that, event only?
I was thinking more just for the event, but, I mean, if there's a need to have it, permanent for whenever we need it, I think that's something we could look into. Someone want to make a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion by Mr. Jacobson,
I'll support it.
supported by Mr. Gurgley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. We'll move on to our discussion items. First discussion item is Lions Park bond. Ross?
Yeah, so as you all know, we've tried pursuing several grants. Met with Ron last week, I believe, discussing next year's plans. It looks like the best process or the next step forward would be to bond out the project entirely and begin construction in the spring. We are meeting with Sohal at Rains tomorrow to kind of discuss construction costs and exactly what, how much it would cost for the engineers to draw up everything. So, Ron, if you have anything else to add.
I guess what we need to think about, and I don't think we need to make any decision tonight, though, but do we want to do the park in phases? So every year, whatever money we have left, or we have available, we can do another phase in the park, which it might take, 5 years to finish the park. Or do we want to go out for a bond and get it done all at one time and then have to pay for the bond, obviously, over time? And if we want to go in that direction, Ross and I can meet with the finance department and start figuring out what that would be. I think just for getting an example, I think it would be worth looking into after we have some idea from Sohal and Rains tomorrow what, the overall cost might be. And that way we could bring it, we could have that discussion and then figure out, do we want to do that, or do we want to just do it in phases and spread it out over 5 years?
I'd like to have it be in that meeting.
I think we should, consider it all the options of what we got, either doing a bond or doing it in phases.
And I guess I would, at this point, bring up, if you could pass that on to, there was an article that I passed out to everybody today that was in today's Detroit News. And it was an article about the money that Wayne County got from the COVID funds, that they've got $339 million that they've got available to spend in Wayne County, and they've only committed less than 200,000 of that 339 million, according to this article. And as you know, we've requested money from Wayne County for that park. We haven't been given an answer one way or another. I know Ross has reached out to them a couple times, and they had indicated there's been no answer. But I think we should seek funding still through Wayne County and maybe through our elected officials put some pressure on the county to look at this, give it another review. And again, they haven't turned us down, but they haven't awarded us anything either. So I think this goes hand in hand with figuring out whether we should do a bond. If we get the money from Wayne County, we don't have to worry about that. And it seems like they've got a lot of money. There's a lot of people seeking the money, but it doesn't sound like they've been making any decisions yet. So
Could you explain the bond process a little for me?
sure. It's basically like a mortgage. So, and let's just say the improvements of the park would be $1 million. So we would go out and borrow $1 million and pay for it over time.
So it's not a vote of the people, we
No.
decide, okay.
Correct. And that's how the DDA started when we did Macomb Street and the sidewalks and the sewers and the street lighting. That was the very first thing that the DDA did, and we have a 25-year bond, which we just paid off a couple years ago. So it did hamper us somewhat in that most of the money that we collected had to go to pay that bond off. So we weren't able to do, a whole lot of improvements along Macomb Street, but that was the whole reason the DDA was set up in the very beginning. So I think we would want to make sure that if we did bond, it would be spread out over a number of years, so we would still have some money to do some things besides paying off that bond.
Okay.
So, and the bond that you have with the airport, didn't you guys just look at a $500,000 bond? And what was that payout
We just
like?
did the roof of Hangar 1, and it was just under $500,000, and our payment, I think, is around $40,000 a year. Over like 15 years, I think it is. So it's a way to get something done right away if there's that need, and
like
you
a
can
roof.
spread it out over time. But you are, committing some of our funds for a long period of time.
And how long does Wayne County have to spend this money?
According to this article, they have to commit it by the end of 2024.
Spend it by 26.
Oh, spent by the end of 26. Committed by 24. Spent by
Yeah.
26.
I think, I don't see it right now. Oh, yeah, okay, it says the funds must be committed to specific projects by the end of 2024 and spent by the end of 2026, according to the federal guidelines. And I think our point is we can spend it by 2024. We don't
Yeah.
have to wait till 2026, so.
That's
And I think that's another good reason that we're meeting with Raines is, we can find out what it's going to cost to engineer this, and maybe we hire Raines to do the engineering. So if and when we get any funds, we're ready to go as soon as we, get approval.
Well, it wouldn't, if we did go that route and we decided to, say, do what we have, could afford right away, and did part of the project, and we decided later that we're not gonna get that money, so we could still get a bond for the balance,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, we could, the discussion we had before was that, and the reason Ross and I are meeting them, at least partially, is to find out what it would cost to put in the concrete sidewalk that's part of the overall master plan there. So we would get, I would call it the hardscape done next year, and then we could do further phases. But if we paid for that, and then we could bond for the rest of it if we wanted to do that. So I think we have some options that we need to explore, and we can bring that back to the board and let everybody look at what the options are and make that decision.
And I know, I'm not sure what the match requirement is for this grant, but a lot of grants, they require some sort of match. So, let's say we spend $20,000 on sidewalks, that's part of our match for a grant in the future. That could be part of the equation of our match, so.
I would hope it would only be $20,000.
Yeah,
but I don't think so.
I'm just throwing some.
It'd be a lot
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah. Any other questions on the Lions Park bonding? If not, we'll move on to our next item. We deleted item number 2, so we'll move on to item number 3, which is the event committee.
So, speaking with Emily Wellman, our former events coordinator, we were talking and we both mutually agreed that she should be focusing on her business. I did the math. She committed 108 hours of her time last year, or throughout this year, on event planning and coordination with me. And it was a hard year for retail, so she said, I got to focus on my business. And I said, please do, because she has a great business, and we don't want to see a business go on Macomb Street. So that leaves a space that needs to be filled, and part of that, I think that it would be beneficial for the board to have some sort of event subcommittee, where we meet and begin programming for 2024 and really get our heads together on what we would like to do with our events next year, and whether or not, if we would like to get another event coordinator to fill her position, what that would look like, and when we go out for the job description, what should be in that job description, those sorts of things. So I just wanted to get to the board today to see who would be interested in forming an event committee. We would meet regularly, sort of like we do now. It would not be televised or in a formal setting like this. We would meet together at Galindo's or Island Coney or wherever, and kind of really program things out. So
I'm assuming we'd probably need something like 3 people to be on that committee.
it would be 4, so that we wouldn't meet quorum. Right, so 5.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
you don't want 5, but it could be 3 or 4.
3 or 4,
along
yep,
with
yeah.
with you, okay.
I'd be happy to serve. Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth
She's on board.
and I, yeah, definitely on board, talking. I mean, I just, just seeing, things that are being done in Ferndale and, just other communities that, it doesn't have to be a big event. It can just be, something as simple as a passport kind of thing that Flat Rock does, but, getting more feet in the stores, is something that we're definitely interested in.
Yep.
And
And we do need more support. Emily and I tried our best this past year, but we do need a
you can't
lot.
have a committee of one.
Huh?
You can't have a committee of one. It's just
Yeah.
not, it's not the
It's
way
not
to go.
conducive to having success. I mean,
No.
granted the weather kind of didn't help, but
No.
we could be doing a lot more event-wise. I have another survey that will be going out that I'll be emailing you guys tomorrow to get your feedback on regarding our events, to get more feedback so that when we start programming for next year, it could just be, it doesn't have to be reoccurring events. It could be, we can bring back movies on Macomb, things like that. I just think that we really need to program our events for next year and really think hard and intentional about how we want things to be next year, because although ladies night was great this year, I heard that there's a couple things that we could have done better. There's always comments of what we can do better, right? So I want to take all that feedback and kind of put that back into a subcommittee that will help really kind of push through some of these event ideas through the finish line. So
And just to clarify, when I said the committee of one, I mean, Emily has done it. She's done an amazing job. She's incredibly talented, has way more social media skills than I do. But
me too.
again, she's running a business, as am I. But if we were to plan out when we could meet and attack it a little at a time, make a
Yep.
plan, and intentionality
Yep.
is a great word.
That's another the social media aspect of things, because I never claimed to be a social media manager or or a marketer or even an events planner. I think that seeking somebody who has a focus in that area or that field would be beneficial to us. So kind of getting somebody to really vamp up our social media to promote our businesses and market our businesses would be very helpful.
I mean, personally, me with the store, I had somebody on staff. She's no longer with me. She's moved on to something different. But I'll tell you, it's key.
Yeah, it really is.
And I really miss. I mean, I'm doing it all myself, and I'm 63, not all that smart about it, but I just keep plugging away.
I vastly underestimated the amount of time that it takes to promote things on social media.
Full-time position.
It's a full-time position. It really, truly is. You know, I can think of all the great ways to do it, but when it comes to doing it, it's very time-consuming.
It is.
So I think that having
And to have the plan so that like in March, you're thinking about Mother's Day, you know, it's like you can't think about Mother's Day in April.
yeah,
So
yep.
Ross, how many hours do you think someone would have to put in to do the events correctly? And I know we're still trying to determine what those events are.
Right.
But using our past events experience, I mean, you said Emily put in 100 hours. I mean, would we need somebody to do 150, 200? What's your kind of guess?
I haven't really worked that out yet. I think that a part-time position would be great, but I know that the budget kind of, depending on what we plan on doing with our budget next year, it might be, I don't know if that's conducive for us, but 15 to 20 hours a week would be really helpful. We have a lot of good ideas that just aren't being implemented. You know, like visiting and interviewing Macomb Street business owners and talking about their stores and talking about their specials and what makes them their business special and why they should visit, and promoting that on social media. Somebody with video marketing skills, you know, graphic skills, you know, that sort of thing. That's sort of, I think that's the missing component a little bit that I've tried to fill. You know, we've got our social media up quite a bit, but there's a little bit more that I think that we could be doing.
a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, and then on that flip side, on the events of coordinating, I mean, leading up to the weeks of coordinating events, meeting with vendors, talking about locations, meeting with businesses, talking about locations, and kind of vetting the vendors, that takes a lot of time. And so.
Any other comments?
So we have Marie and Elizabeth on that committee. Anybody else? Jerry?
Jerry's-
Okay, all right, great.
Do you only want DDA members on the committee?
I think to begin with, yes,
with.
but
I keep
I think we can
eyeballing
make it.
April
She
because
keeps eyeballing.
she has,
Well,
and maybe.
April,
I
your
don't know.
Instagram, you know, it's pretty good. So,
Oh, thanks. I guess I could Monday.
but do you honestly have the time though? Because if you don't have the time, that's
Well,
fine. Because we'd be
I
meeting.
have to think about it.
Yeah,
I have to think about it and really make sure.
that's totally fine.
Run 3 accounts.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth, I mean, you know, she's got more social media than I do, and I mean, you guys do a great job on your Facebook page.
It's
I
not
mean,
me though, most of the time.
But I mean, the committee wouldn't be making content or
No,
posting
yeah.
things or anything. It's just ideas and kind of formulating exactly how we want our events to run. That's really the main thing. And thinking about this part-time job description.
I mean, just something as simple as you just, you know, take a piece of paper and you got 6 months up here, 6 months down here, and you just kind of try to plot things out to say, you know, okay, we don't have anything going on here, you know, it
Yep.
just,
No, yeah, 100%. Just setting time aside to really focus on these things.
exactly.
Because I don't think we have, right now, our events for next year, our first one is Island Nights, which is in June. And we have 6 months of nothing going on Macomb Street. So it's sort of, we got to think of
Again,
some,
we don't need events where you need restrooms. We just we can do other kind of events.
right, yep. So.
anything else? Nope. Well, you got a couple volunteers so far.
Got
so.
3. That's good. That's good enough.
Anything else, Ross?
Nope, that's all I got.
Next item is the chairman's report. I just got a couple items. Our next meeting in December is on the 28th. And Ross, unless you have some pressing issue, I'd like to cancel that meeting and just have our January meeting, unless someone has a reason we need to have that meeting at the end of December. If there's no objection, then we'll just
Yeah.
cancel the December meeting and have the January meeting.
I'm gonna be in San Antonio.
And the only other thing I have is, I did reach out to the owner of the cleaners, and he is okay with us having the dance contest in front of the mural at his place. And we kind of talked about having it on a Sunday because, he's open for business other days, and he was okay with that. I did also talk to someone that could handle the music for us, and sounds like that's fallen into place. So I'll try to have some more information update at our next meeting, and we do need to pick a date soon for that.
We need to do that too, to where I could participate, because we're open till 3. So, I'm gonna make sure that's gonna be, because I've already got a team together, so.
All right. So more to come on that. That's all I had. I'll open it up to any board members. Anybody have anything you want to bring up to discuss?
Island Glow tomorrow, 5 to 8. Yep. Lions Park. There were some people still calling me, where's the tree lighting at? Why isn't it at Perdino's? That sort of thing.
Right.
I've already addressed it, but Perdino's trees have seen better days, so we moved it over to Lions Park. We got a 20-foot tree over there, so we're looking forward to seeing everyone over there.
But the event starts at the Commons, right?
Starts at the
There's a
Commons.
parade?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
The report.
Yeah,
I-
we talked about
And
that
it starts at 5?
It starts at 5. Everyone starts having music and stuff at 6.
Not cold, yeah.
Santa comes at 7, and then the parade down to Lions Park starts at 7:15ish. The tree lighting's at 7:30. So
Anything else? Hearing none, our next item is public comment. There's no one in the public tonight, so we will, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:02.
I'll support that.
Motion by Mr. Gergley, supported by Ms. Karn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.